What's up, guys? This is episode 4 of Game News and Things. I'm the one BG, along with my buddy Platinumine. Let's get into it. So, Platinumine, what have you been playing?
I've been mostly just playing only one game. For the past 3 days, it's been just Skyrim. I was said in the last episode, I was pumped for it. Kinda got a little confused, thought it came out on Tuesday. It came out on Friday. But that was kind of fine because I had a bunch of other stuff I had to do, and yeah, basically that's all I've been playing. With a little mix of Battlefield in there, but mostly just playing Skyrim. How about you?
I have had a crazy week with our uncle passing away, and everyone came and lived in our house.
Yeah.
So I played for a little bit on Thursday when no one else was home, and then I played a lot on Saturday, and I've just been playing Civ 6.
Yeah. Still good there?
Yeah, it's still really good. Still enjoying it, still figuring out the different AIs and how they work and whatnot, but overall, really satisfied with it.
That's good to hear.
So, let me ask you about Skyrim. You said you didn't play a lot when it first came out.
Correct.
So, what about this? I guess let's first dive into, this is the remastered version. Does it look like you would want it to?
I guess. I'm not a big graphics person. Mine is like The Witcher 3 and GTA 5. I can barely tell the difference. I'm not one of those people that said, oh, this one screenshot was only shared at 720p and the game is actually running at 1080p, or I have no idea what any of that means. It looks great. There's times where, yeah, I'm like, oh, wow, this view is insane. It looks gorgeous. But
Yeah.
who knows what, it looked on PS3 and all of them. But there's the one thing that I do remember in the original Skyrim was that the load times, especially when you're fast traveling, were long as heck. You've played it. You could probably agree with me on there. The nice thing though is when I'm fast traveling to the big White Run, I think is the first big castle place.
Yep.
When I fast travel there, it takes maybe 10 seconds. It's pretty lightning fast with those loading times.
That's good.
Yeah. Other than that, it's Skyrim. I'm having a blast. I was looking forward to it. But yeah, I've been having a fun with it. I'm liking it so far. Not any too frame droppings like it was originally and like it was in Fallout 4. It's pretty consistent, but I'm enjoying it so far. Nothing too big to complain from me, unlike most critics.
So the other big thing about the Skyrim Remastered Edition was the mods. Have you downloaded any of the mods, messed around with any of that?
Right when the game opened, I saw that there's the mods tab. I'm like, okay, there can't be a lot of mods. The game literally came out today. I just want to go see what it is. There were a lot there. I don't know how they already created them. Maybe it's just a little flip of the switch said yes on Xbox One and it was all good.
Yeah.
I was gonna play with a couple of them, make the game a little bit easier with disabling the clouds on the whole map when you zoom out to fast travel, take those off, make sure the vendors have unlimited money so I can just sell it to just one person, don't have to sell it to them, sleep for 24 hours and then come back, sell more to them and keep redoing it. And then the other one I was going to use was just adding different loading screens with more of the lore of Skyrim.
Yeah.
But then as I loaded it up, I was going to start my game, And then it said all trophies and achievements are disabled when you play with mods. I'm like, oh, well, no mods for me.
Ah, I gotcha.
So,
I guess that would make sense.
I mean, I do have one character that I am playing for my Let's Play series, and one person that I'm just going to mess with mods around with, and then another one
Mm-hmm.
that I'm just playing by myself. When I used the mods, there were still clouds on my map. So,
Okay.
I mean, when I was trying to use them, I didn't see any difference. Nothing too big on them, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of staying away from them. I just want so I can get my achievements. Maybe
Yeah.
later down the road, I'll do some mod highlights if there's anything decent out there that I get to play, like as when all the dragons are Randy Savage.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. So for you, really, getting the remastered version with mods was less about the mods and just more about getting the game back in your hands for current gen, up-res a little bit, and
then the
playing
DLC,
it. Oh
because it
yes,
does
you
come
get.
with all the DLC.
Okay. Oh, nice.
hmm
That's a nice addition as well.
I mean, if it didn't come with all the DLC, I'd have a little problem with it. I mean, the game came out however many
Yeah.
years ago, and you're not gonna add the all the DLC to it. I mean, if they, especially if they're gonna make you, they were gonna charge you for the DLC again,
Right.
then I would feel like they would be like the most
It's a
disliked company
money
of,
grab. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, having all of them in there, I haven't jumped into any of them yet, because I mean, I'm just
Right.
starting out still. But I mean, for me, it was just like I don't want to dust off my PS3 anymore and play Skyrim there, so it's kind of nice to just be able to have it on this console.
Yeah. So let's dive into the news here.
hmm
And our first piece of news is Battlefield 1 outsells combined week 1 of Battlefield 4 and Hardline.
hmm
So we have some big numbers from Battlefield 1.
Yeah. I mean, we all. I mean, I at least was kind of seeing it that was going to happen,
Oh, yeah.
but I mean, it's not surprising at all to me. It seems like. I mean, it's been.
Yeah, I think this change from like the drastic change from like futuristic back to in the past is just something that no one's really seen, and it's obviously it's done them well.
hmm Yeah, I mean, it's so for. I mean, for especially Battlefield 4 and Hardline, comparing those two games to what Battlefield 1 is getting reviewed at, Battlefield 4 was so broken at launch. People
Yeah.
also hate Battlefield Hardline.
Mhm.
So, I mean, Battlefield 1's getting insane reviews. So it's pretty obvious that, hey, this game is actually decent at the start of the release of this game. People will go buy it.
Yeah, and both Battlefield 4 and Hardline both had hard launches.
hmm
And seeing that Battlefield 1 really came out the gates and it was working and it was well,
Yep,
I think that really helped it as well. Like, people
definitely.
probably might have been hesitant to buy it from Battlefield 4 and Hardline, but now people seeing that it did so well on the first day probably went out and bought it right away, and
Yeah. I
off it
I
goes.
mean, when I have my times at Target as a cashier, I mean, I see a bunch of people still buying at Battlefield 1. So, I mean, the number's still gonna keep on climbing for Battlefield 1.
hmm So the big question is then is between Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, and Call of Duty, which one is going to be the biggest one of the holiday season? That's my big question.
Yeah. I mean, the way I'm putting it is probably Titanfall 2 is going to be number 3.
Yep, yep.
COD usually gets about 10 to 12 million copies no matter what.
hmm
And Battlefield 1, I mean, from Eurogamer where it says that it outsells it, we still don't get the number
Right.
of how many have been sold. So, I mean, we still don't know what that's at. I mean, sure, combined week one from the other ones, I mean, what's that probably totaling at? Maybe 2 million?
Yeah.
If that. Because, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it says the 24-hour peak was at 800,000. So, I mean, you also have to realize 24 hours, that's when everyone's going to want to get on and see it. So that's
Yep.
probably the highest it's going to be. So who knows? Maybe Battlefield 1's still only at like 3 million copies sold.
Yeah, I don't know what it's at currently,
Hmm.
but I feel like COD has its fight ahead of it right now.
Yeah. I mean, especially when COD has been getting just slammed for especially Infinite Warfare.
Yep. Yeah, it hasn't had as good of a reception
Yeah.
as they probably hoped for.
So I mean, who knows? Maybe Battlefield 1, being that it's getting such good reviews and everything, it could just take over and say, nope, bye bye Call of Duty.
Yeah, that would be quite a change.
Hmm.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about in relation to Battlefield 1 sales?
No, I'm pretty good. I mean, I feel like we did pretty good in covering that now.
All right, let's dive into our second piece of news, which is Team Liquid announced Civilization 6 esports team. So, Team Liquid, if you don't know, is one of the largest esports orgs out there. They have their foot in every single different esport, from League of Legends to COD to Overwatch, and apparently now to Civ 6. Not much really to say here, but I think it's just a good sign for the Civ 6 esports scene to have such a large org getting invested in it.
Hmm. I mean, you're the Civ 6 kind of person out of you and me, along with also being an esports person. I mean, do you see any significance in this? I mean, I didn't even know that there was a Civilization esports going around.
Yeah, I believe I remember seeing like Civ 6 competitions and whatnot, but or Civ 5 I believe. They had esports competitions.
Hmm.
So I just don't think they weren't as publicized as League of Legends and Dota and other ones like that. But like Team Liquid started with, I believe, StarCraft. I believe that's where they really
Hmm.
grew as a org. So them being with StarCraft and then going into Civ 6 is, I believe that's kind of scary. I mean, Team Liquid, and they get a lot of big names, and seeing what they've done in StarCraft is big news for Civ 6.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting thing. I just don't know how it's an esport. It doesn't
Yeah,
seem like it'll. I mean, those games go on for how long? I
yeah,
mean, some of the
that is the
longest
other
games go
thing.
on for a couple of days, it seems like. So,
Yeah,
I mean, sure, maybe the pro people can finish a game in an hour, but ooh, yay, this turn we're building one army right here. We're gonna
right.
buy these squares. I mean, I just don't see it actually attracting a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see where it goes. I want to follow that because I enjoy Civ 6 and see what those tournaments are like.
Yeah.
Our third piece of news here is in relation to Pokemon Go. And they announced that they're having a Halloween event,
Mm.
which ends in a couple days. It started on October 26th, and it's their little Halloween event, which is supposed to have their scary, psychic, and ghost Pokemon come out more often. You also get a few other boosts, such as you get 6 candies when you catch a Pokemon. The professor gives you 2 candies when you transfer, and your buddy Pokemon gets 4 candies instead of the usual 1.
Yeah.
I think it's neat that they're doing a Halloween event for Pokemon Go, trying to keep it afloat, trying to get people back into it if you stopped playing.
Well, I mean, if you want to get people back into the game, fix your tracker. That's all I gotta say. I mean, we're still stuck with just these, hey, these Pokemon are nearby you right now. I mean, we're not going to give you any hints on what direction they're in or anything. But they're in that direction, don't worry. Or they're somewhere within, I don't know, 500 feet of you. Ooh, yay, sign me up. Let me go walk in a 500 feet circle right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, before we started the podcast, I loaded it up and none of the sprites are showing. I loaded it up right now, and I guess now they're loaded up, so I can actually catch these things. But I mean, the thing about it is, some of them that they were, like you even said, so their Pokemon Go Halloween event poster. If we look here, shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Pokemon. One of them is in the Pokemon Go game.
That's pretty disappointing.
I mean, don't tease us that you're going to add all these Pokemon in, and we all know they're not in the game.
Right.
I mean, the only one that was in Gen 1 is Gengar, and he's obviously going to be the cover for the whole thing. But he's just, I mean, it's a weird topic. I'm almost close to just hiding Pokemon Go and forgetting about the game till at least Gen 2 comes out.
Yeah, that would, I think, if they want to get people back, it should be Gen 2.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and a better tracker. Those are the
Yeah.
2 things that they need to be working on right now, not doing a Halloween event.
Yeah, fix the problems that you currently have instead of adding
a new thing.
Yeah. So, talking about new things, 2 new licensed Pro controllers have been announced for PS4. The Nacon Revolution and the Razer Raiju.
They look terrible.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not a fan.
I mean, these things are. I mean, the Raiju looks a little bit interesting. I mean, they have like this little sound thing on the bottom for like talking and everything. I mean, that's kind of nice if it's a pro gaming controller. You do a little adjusting right from there. But otherwise, especially the Revolution looks like they're ripping off an Xbox One controller.
Yeah, the switch of the D-pad and the analog stick.
So, I mean, I'm looking at my Xbox One controller right now. I'm looking at this Revolution one. It looks basically the exact same thing, minus the ugly touchpad on it.
Yeah, the ergonomics of the Nacon Revolution just look bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's basic, and then the Raiju looks almost a little too blocky.
Yeah, they look like old school controllers that are just kind of they're just knockoffs essentially.
Yeah. And so like for this Raiju, it says that there's 2 extra bumpers and 2 extra detachable triggers. So maybe on the back side there's some extra things coming on there.
If you scroll down, they have
yeah,
some weirdo triggers underneath the controller and those extra bumpers right next to the original triggers.
Yeah, so it makes the controller look even more uglier.
Yeah.
And then the same with the Revolution, there are just some extra buttons on the back.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's really nothing. I mean, if you guys like these controllers, I mean, go ahead. It's just there's really nothing much about these things that would make it any realistic on, hey, I want this thing. I want some extra buttons. I mean, maybe for you COD players, so you can actually like run, jump, dive, then finally shoot me as I'm just realizing you're there.
Yep. Yeah, I mean they're made for esports
Mm-hmm.
because of the extra buttons, so you don't ever have to take your hands off of the right analog stick
Yep.
to aim. So that way they can essentially map the X, circle, triangle, and square all to those extra buttons.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't remember who it was, but one of my friends one time had a customizable controller like that, where on the back side there was 2 extra buttons.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like I was looking at it and it's like, oh great, I can now press circle on the back. I mean,
Yep. Yeah.
I've never understood the extra things about uh adding extra buttons. I mean, if the PlayStation, or Xbox felt like you needed more buttons, the controller would come with it.
Yeah, I agree. Just adapt to what your controller has.
Exactly. You pro people, if you're really that good, you guys, I know that the pro players don't, like, they use all their fingers and somehow are able to control the controller while they have their thumbs on the analog sticks and their index finger on the circle button and their other, and it's, they actually can adapt to this. It's just giving the other people that want to be pro players a little extra boost.
Yup.
I mean, great. Now these other people that are gonna find these cheap exploits are gonna kill me quicker. Woohoo.
Just what you want.
Yeah.
So we also have another game that was in development, has now been stopped, and that is Evolve Stage 2. So Evolve just relaunched essentially as a free-to-play game, and it has now been stopped
hmm
because Turtle Rock Studios, their contract ended with 2K Games, and therefore they can't really
Do anything.
do anything. Yeah, which I'm surprised they just wouldn't extend their contract. I mean, I don't really know how that all goes, but I believe that there could be something if this game was doing as well as it sounded like it was. I mean, I heard good things about the reboot of Evolve, but I just don't. I'm not a big fan of these free to play games.
No.
I think it lowers market value on games that you pay for.
Yeah, and I mean, usually free to play games don't want to touch at all, because then I know inside the free to play game there's going to be a ton of microtransactions. I mean,
Yes.
that's
And
what the
I'm
games
not a
are.
huge fan of those.
Because, I mean, they need to make their money somehow from the game. So obviously, they're not just going to say, hey, we spent 3 years working on this one game. Oh, and it's free for everyone. No, you guys don't even have to do
Right.
anything on giving us money. I mean,
Yeah. The free to play model is just not. I don't think it's good for the environment of the gaming industry.
keep free to play on mobile. That's what I
Yeah,
say.
I'm fine with that.
Because, I mean, that's fine. I mean, mobile games, yeah, I don't want to pay $20 for Angry Birds.
Right.
I mean, I'm fine with $1. Or the
Mhm.
free Angry Birds 2. But, I mean, just keep that over there. We don't want that over here.
Agreed. So, our next piece of news is near and dear to my heart. Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 Remix brings the series' biggest games to PS4 next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty excited about this. Like,
Yeah?
yeah, I mean, I love Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2. I never did like any of the point fives or anything
All
like
the
that.
spin-off ones.
Right. But the fact that I'll be able to play all of them,
Mm-hmm.
like just sit down and play, like that's pretty cool. And they're coming out March 28th, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
which is exactly 15 years after the first game came out.
Did not know that. Does it come? Is it one fee? You get both 1.5 and 2.5, or can you just do like just 1.5? Do you know?
It looks like you get both of them along with all of the other remixes that came out, the Chain of Memories and all of the other things. So it's like you'll just get all of the Kingdom Hearts games in one, probably $60.
Okay.
Which I'm pumped for.
I mean, are you gonna buy it?
If I figure out my PS4 to change that location and whatnot, then I very well might.
Okay. I mean, I never actually beat either one of them.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, sure, Kingdom Hearts 3 will come out like in 2033, it seems like. But I mean, I probably might not even get that game.
I'll probably get it.
Yeah.
I love those games. Those games are super fun, and I spent a lot of time playing them. And I just want to play them again.
Yeah.
And I can't because I don't have a PS2 or my PS3.
Gotcha. I mean, I just remember Kingdom Hearts had a Game Shark on it.
Yup.
I used the Game Shark, I had the best Keyblade, and I had all of the maps, and I had no idea where I was going.
Yeah, I do miss those Game Shark days, but I'm really excited for this, and I think it'll be a good ramp up for Kingdom Hearts 3, because those games are kind of long.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that it's just do you think maybe Kingdom Hearts is actually kind of close, maybe? And they're saying, hey, it's coming out soon. Hey, go ahead and play the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5. Or do you feel that they're nowhere close to finishing Kingdom Hearts 3, but they're just trying to keep the Kingdom Hearts name relevant in the news?
My guess is that Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be like 2018.
Right.
So, I mean, still like 2 years out.
Yeah.
Probably fall 2018, Christmas season. And that's my guess as to when it comes out. So I think this will be their game for 2017. That should eventually, hopefully, get you to Kingdom Hearts 3.
Gotcha.
Enough about Kingdom Hearts, though. We're going to dive into some more nitty-gritty game of Titanfall 2. And their maps and modes will all be free. So I think this is cool, and I like games that do this, where all their DLC stuff is free. Just pay for the game and you get the DLC.
Yeah. I mean, I like this thing. I mean, they even stated in the beginning that it's going the Overwatch route. I mean, it's basically saying, hey, you buy this one game, we're not going to charge you anymore.
Yeah, and if they include, like, essentially what Overwatch did, where it's cosmetic items that you pay for, I'm all for that. Because guess what? I spend a whole lot of money on those stupid Overwatch loot boxes.
Yeah.
And that's how these games go. And if you like them, I believe you should support them, buy the game, and if you really want to, you can buy some of whatever their loot box system is.
And Titanfall 2, is it published by EA, right?
I believe so. Same people as Battlefield.
I wonder, is Titanfall 2 on EA Access?
I'm not sure.
Because I've not heard anything on that. Because, I mean, maybe I might just, like, test out, and I'll get back to you guys next week, see what I've thought about it, if it is on there. Might be a little nice thing to just take a little break from going around shooting people from World War One.
And then hop into...
fight some dragons. And then do Transformers Wars.
Alright, so last week we talked a little bit about a brand new piece of hardware called the Nintendo Switch. And since that release has come out, there's been a lot of other information that has come out about this. So the big piece of news that honestly I was really looking for was that it has been announced that it has a 6.2-inch 720p multi-touch screen. So I like that. It's kind of what I expected.
Yep. I mean, it will. It does kind of stack up with the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I mean, the current ones do 1080p and 720. Some games only run 720. So I mean, that's nice to see at least that it's not back at 420 or 480, whatever it was.
Yep. And yeah, the multi-touch screen. Honestly, I wish it didn't have a touch screen.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like touch screens are just gimmicky sort of things.
I mean, hopefully it's not too much put in there.
I hope what it really comes down to is just navigating like menus and whatnot. Like you can do that with touch, because like we have to remember that this isn't just a portable device, it's also like going to be in a dock. And how would a touchscreen work when it is being projected to your TV? Is it going to like force you to take out the switch of the dock system just to use a touch control? That's why I think that this touchscreen is just a real basic little thing of working like the hardware, changing the menus and stuff like that.
I mean, it's an interesting thing to see. I mean, they also say at the end of the article that the big Switch, like, press conference about it is on January 13th. Where it's going to say, here's everything that you guys are wanting to know, along with probably the expected release date, somewhere in March, but it's going to give us the exact date, and what is going to start with the game. I mean...
Yeah, and they said that we won't get any more information before then. So, unless it gets leaked.
Yeah.
But I think, for right now, it sounds good, and hopefully it keeps this sort of momentum behind it, and it goes from there.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've been seeing so far, I'm still very interested in this thing.
Yeah, the only big question I think that remains to be asked is what sort of games and how long does it last battery-wise?
And the price point.
Yeah, and the price point. And our last piece of news, Final Fantasy 15 announces an online co-op mode.
Whatever. That's probably why it's staying so long. Or why this going gold has been taking so long.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not a whole lot interested in this game.
No.
Honestly, I might check it out just because I haven't really spent a lot of time with Final Fantasy, and I am interested in playing a Final Fantasy game.
If you want to play a Final Fantasy game, wait just till 7 comes out.
Yeah.
Probably when I'm like 50.
Yeah.
Because who knows?
I thought about just playing some older ones, especially because I don't know about this one. Not that I would pre-order this or get it day one or anything.
Obviously.
Depending on what else is around. But I think it's interesting that it has an online co-op mode. And our two last pieces of news are our free games with PlayStation and Xbox. So with PlayStation, you get Everybody's Gone to the Rapture and the Deadly Towers of Monsters. Those are our PS4 ones. You get Dirt 3 and Costume Quest 2 for the PS3, And for Vita, you get Letter Quest Remastered and Pumped BMX Plus. Wow. What do you get for Xbox?
For Xbox, it's very, very confusing after you read it a couple times. You start to understand what's happening. So for Xbox 360, both of these will be backward compatible to the Xbox One, so that's even a nice little plus for all of you Xbox One people like I am. You get The Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition. From what I believe about that is it is like a point and click adventure game, I thought it was. Don't quote me on it. And you get Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. I mean, that was probably a great DLC that came out for Far Cry 3. That's all I got to say on that. I mean, it's a DLC, but yet, I mean, it was kind of fleshed out, but that's what you get for Xbox 360. On the Xbox One side, you get Super Dungeon Bros, which is a local cartoon Diablo game, it looks like, which comes out also. And it's just being launched in November, so, I mean, it's like its first time ever being out on the market, so we don't know anything really on how it is going to be. And then starting November 16th, when Blood Dragon also goes live, you get Murdered Soul Suspect, which is kind of like I think the story with it is you get, you play as a ghost who got murdered and you try to solve your own murder.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I remember about it. But I mean, don't quote me on it here.
Okay. So, you mentioned Super Dungeon Bros, so that brings us to our upcoming games for October 31st through November 5th. We have, I guess we kind of only have 3 games coming out this week. Hitman Episode 6, Hitman, Super Dungeon Bros, and Infinite Warfare. Do any of those strike you as interesting games?
I mean, Hitman does, but I'm not touching that till all the episodes come out.
Okay.
Because, I mean, from what I've heard, people enjoy the Hitman games. I enjoyed Hitman Absolution, which was the one before these Hitman episode games. But I remember from the Hitman game is those controls are a little weird. And I've heard from a lot of people that have played all of the Hitman like episodes that it's kind of weird leaving the game for a couple of months and then coming back to do another episode. You forget most all the controls that you've learned.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm kind of waiting. I mean, I don't know if episode 6 is the last one
Okay.
that
Yeah.
comes out, but I mean, I'm gonna wait till they all come out and maybe play it. Keywords
Gotcha.
maybe.
Yeah. Are you interested about Call of Duty?
No.
No?
Nope. I I I I've liked Call of Duty when you stay on the ground. Let's put it at that.
Agreed. Yeah.
The whole jet boost and all of that. I mean, I didn't mind Advanced Warfare, but now I think they're getting a little out of hand here. In my taste.
Yeah. Honestly, every time I see the commercial for it, I actually think it looks kind of fun until it gets to until I start thinking about like playing multiplayer or anything like that. Like honestly, the campaign actually intrigues me on that, but I don't want to pay $60 for like an 8-hour campaign that may or may not be any good.
I mean, Call of Duty's campaigns have usually been good.
Right.
Obviously, they're not as fleshed out as the multiplayer and zombies.
Right, right.
But, I mean, they're starting to really amp it up. I mean, what was it? Advanced Warfare had Kevin Spacey. And,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty big name here. And then Infinite Warfare is getting Jon Snow from Game of Thrones.
Ah, that's who their big name is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who it was in Black Ops, but
I don't know who it was.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll wait. I mean, I usually end up buying it because my girlfriend likes to play it with me because it's like the only one good multiplayer shooter that she likes to play.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll probably eventually get it if it goes on like sale or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't really intrigue me like, oh my gosh, I need to have it. I
Mhm.
mean, sure, it comes with, I mean, if I want to put down $80, I can get COD 4 Remastered, but people that are buying that are going to be way too good at COD 4.
Yeah, because that was their game.
Yup. So I'm just like, I'm going to stay away from that.
Yeah. So I was browsing the interwebs and I stumbled across an article on IGN about early review copies, and it was really only about Bethesda and how Bethesda was only gonna give IGN 24 hours to to review the game.
Or
And
at least they're going to put out the game, let people
right,
get the game 24 hours in advance.
yep, yeah, and that got me thinking, like, what is the benefit of not giving a game out for a review?
I mean, for some games it's understandable. I mean, some games, hey, you want this only multiplayer game a couple days early when the servers aren't even live? So, I mean, obviously you're going to wait on that.
Yep.
Um, Second of all, you can go to Mafia 3. Game
Mhm.
kind of blows.
Yes.
So we're not going to show you that at all. Or
Mhm.
you could just have so much good, like, hey, I'm pretty confident this game's going to be freaking awesome. So I don't need to give you guys anything because I know it could sell copies. I mean, a lot of the
Right.
times the companies will send out games early so they can get their name out there. Say, hey, put your review out at this time, kind of let people see it and be like, hey, you're giving this a good score. I should go out and get this game. It looks pretty good.
Yep.
I mean, similar to what they did with Doom. Doom didn't get any release copies,
Yeah, that's right. That's the other one that I was thinking of.
but the game was freaking awesome.
Right. So it's like, I feel like the real only benefit of these developers not releasing a review copy of these games early is that if the game is bad, it still can sell a lot, like Mafia.
Yeah,
Like, it sold a lot, but it just wasn't,
it
like,
wasn't
if it
very
would have
good.
went through the review process, it didn't score well. So then I was like, well, why would it be bad to give review copies? And that's pretty obvious. Like, if the game is bad,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not gonna sell.
Yep. Because I mean,
So it's like,
if we take Mafia 3, I mean that'll probably be our good topic to just
hmm
talk about. For Mafia 3 is always a good standpoint, saying, okay, I know our game isn't very good, so if we gave out the review copies and it only gets like a 6 or a 5, if that,
yeah, it's gonna hurt their sales.
it's like, oh, geez, I don't want to get that game.
Right. But then you also have Doom, where it didn't release early for review copies,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a really good game.
Yep.
So I wonder, like, does it stop developers, like, if they're hesitant if their game is good or bad? I mean, Mafia scored a 7.5 on IGN,
Mm-hmm.
which is considered good.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't very bad of a game. It's just there were
Right,
some rough things that were happening that's just like, no.
right. So I feel like maybe what developers are trying to get across with not letting reviewing big name corporations review their games early is, like, put the power less into big corporation reviewing standards and give it to the consumers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it has been noted by a lot of internet people that believe that, like, IGN is tainted and, like, they give good scores to their friends that higher up and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. So I wonder if like companies are now just saying, you know what, we're gonna do away with that and we're gonna let the consumers decide whether this game is good or bad. And if it's bad, then we bite the bullet and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully it sells a lot right away. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I feel like games now have this like sort of taint behind it where if a game doesn't get an early copy out, it's gonna be bad, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I wonder, like, do companies just have to suck it up and hope that their game is good? Does this inspire companies to only put out the best product, and then does that in turn make games get delayed? So I wonder if these early review copies, like, I think they're all right. I don't see a problem with them,
Yeah.
and it protects the consumer if the game is bad. But I also don't think people should put all their eggs into one basket and oh, they reviewed this game poorly, so therefore the game is bad, sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, how I see it is that if you want to know how this game is, there's plenty of YouTubers out there like us that will give you an honest opinion.
Right.
You need to find your one person that you say, hey, this person likes the games that I like and plays the games how I play them. I want to see what he thinks of these games, watch what he says about it, and then I can make my decision on it. Not go to like IGN or something like that and just see what they gave it. That's the other thing though, is a lot of people nowadays, they'll say, oh look, Titanfall 2, for example, got reviewed and uh let me just see what it is. Oh, boom, 9, okay. Yeah, that looks good, I'll go get it. But they don't
Right.
read the review.
Yep.
That's the thing
Like,
about a lot of them is these things are take time. They don't just say, Titanfall 2, 9, done. That's all there is to it.
yep. Right.
I mean, you gotta read a little bit into it before you make your decision.
Agreed. So now we are going to go into our holiday buying guide, but this time we're going to do it a little different. So I will turn it over to you for your holiday buying guide.
Alright, so as he said there, we've kind of already covered it up. 20-year-olds and higher, we've already explained what M-rated games basically to get, and for you younger people, what games you should probably be asking for in your age range. But the thing about it is our high range was basically the same the whole time. Lots of the times, especially in the holidays, or when people are getting PS4s and Xbox Ones. I mean, that's when you usually see an extra little boost in all of their sales. So, what you and me kind of decided is we kind of go bit by bit and say, alright, here's why you should buy this one over this one or something like that. So, let's start with the PS4 Slim. I mean, what do you think there? Why do you think people should buy the PS4 Slim?
Um, I believe you should buy the PS4 Slim pretty much if you don't have a 4K or HD TV,
Hmm.
because really that's the only benefit to the Pro.
Yeah. Um, but so in my eyes, especially for PS4 Slim to Xbox One S, PS4 does have a bunch of exclusive for third-party games. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
that's what they're known for. Sure, they have Uncharted and some like exclusives, like for instance, what's coming up eventually is Horizon Zero Dawn is just PS4. So that's a nice little thing to have. But I mean, they do have, all right, sure, Call of Duty. All you get like a month, I think it is, for all of their DLC. You get Call of Duty maps early, like a
Yeah, something like
month
that.
early. Destiny, you get a couple extra maps and a couple extra missions. I mean, PS4 Pro or Slim is definitely the way if you're looking for multiplayer games, is what I would say.
Mhm.
Going against for like the Xbox One S, I mean, we're not going to include the original one because those are slowly dying out. You will not see those pretty soon anywhere. Maybe if you go on eBay or something, you'll see those. Nice thing for Xbox One S is it does come with all of your 4K stuff, so I mean, you don't need to do too much extra. If you have that, it's nice to have. They do have the extra uh, exclusives. I mean, that's one thing that Xbox One has been just killing is with Xbox exclusives. Plus, you get to, if you're also in the PC thing, you get all those games for cross-platform. I mean, that's a nice little extra bonus for that one. But I mean, that's the nice thing, especially for the Slim of the Xbox One, is you get all the 4K stuff for also a lower price. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, I mean, really, I believe the Pro and the Xbox One S are like essentially the competing systems for visual output.
Yeah, minus I don't think Xbox One S does HDR and all that.
No, I don't think so.
So I mean, yeah, PS4 Pro is a little bit better above the Xbox One S, but currently I do not see any reason to get a Pro. I mean, if you're gonna get a
Yeah, and
PlayStation, I would say Slim.
yeah, the only real reason to get a PS4 Pro is if you have a 4K HDR TV.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
About it.
really about it.
I mean, then there's the Xbox One S where sure you may have some 4K stuff, but it's not gonna truly like push the boundaries of making your games look better. I mean, Pro, some games won't even support Pro, it looks like.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, sure, the ones coming out, especially the first party ones, will have it, but
Yeah.
I mean, they said they're trying to reach out to some people, say, hey, you want to do a PS4 Pro thing? So, I mean, it still doesn't look like it's all supported for it.
Right.
Um,
Especially because it's the only one really pushing for that. I believe once the Scorpio gets released, then all of the companies will get on board with the PS4 Pro and Scorpio
yes,
specs.
I would definitely agree with that. So, I mean, when next year rolls around, because I'm guessing that's when Scorpio's coming out,
Yeah.
is that's when all of the Pro stuff will start coming in. So I would definitely wait off on the PS4 Pro and just do a Slim if you are going to buy someone a gaming console for PlayStation. I mean, the other thing though that I believe you would agree on with me, um, before you buy a console for someone, I would talk with them and just kind of maybe hint that they could be getting it and ask, where are your friends?
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Like, if you're buying a console for someone who already has a console, if they have a PS4 and if they like really like their trophy score or if they have a lot of friends,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be hard pressed to move to an Xbox One.
Exactly.
Same thing if your child already has an Xbox. If they're looking for a new console and they have all their friends on Xbox and they like their achievement score, it's going to be hard for them to leave that stuff behind unless they're like, you know what, I'm done with this and let's move on to a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely make sure that like they would be okay leaving a certain console family.
Yeah. I mean, even I would still say, even if they don't have a gaming console, I would still try to hint
Yeah.
at with them because we all have friends that no matter what, someone has a friend that plays a video game. I swear that it will be true always. Is that no matter what, you always have one friend that plays a video game.
Mhm.
So, I mean, double check with whoever you're going to buy it for. Say, I don't know, just say, hey, you have someone that plays a video game, or I don't know how you can word it. Don't ask me. I don't know. I'm not very secretive on asking things. But definitely talk with that person before you go out and buy a $300 thing and realize, oh, this person's not going to touch it because no one is there for them.
Right.
I mean, sure,
Yeah.
maybe they're just single player people, then it doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
it's turning to be that we're all multiplayer kind of people. I mean, sure, you and me are pretty single player, minus like our one FPS that we play. But that's my number one tip: is make sure you ask the person, because it could either be the greatest gift that they will get, or it could be probably a worse gift that they could get.
Agreed. So we're gonna move on from our holiday buying guide now to our nerdy randomness section.
Mm-hmm.
Our first piece of nerdy randomness is Marvel's Doctor Strange conjures big international debut. So I believe it hasn't come out in the US, has it?
I don't think so.
No. It's just been released overseas, and it has done quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a good step in the right direction for this franchise. Is this DC? I don't know.
No, this is Marvel.
Marvel.
Yes.
How has the previous Marvel games been doing?
Like the movies?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know, cause
Or was it was it DC's movies that were doing bad?
yes,
Okay.
DC's movies. So like Batman,
That's right. Yeah.
Batman versus
They've been.
Superman. Those have been a little bit rough. I
Yeah.
mean, sure, we had the Fox's Fantastic Four, which we all knew was not going to be good.
Right.
But I mean, it's a
Having
very.
another good superhero movie is good.
I mean, this is where the start that lots of people were gonna think that um this could be the end of the Marvel universe, because now we're getting into these very weird kind of superheroes that,
Less known ones.
yeah, no one really knows who Doctor Strange is unless you knew a lot of, or like you read comics. I
Yeah.
mean, I know who Doctor Strange is. I know basically all these Marvel movies that are going to come out. But I mean, I'm kind of interested in it. I'll probably wait for a while before I go and see it.
Okay.
Because, I mean, going to the movies costs an arm and a leg nowadays.
I know.
So, I mean, I'll probably wait for it to be out on Redbox to see it. I mean, I'm actually pretty interested in it. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
With its whole, like, Inception vibe it gives off.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about Doctor Strange.
I mean, if you look, if you've seen, like, the whole trailer for it, there's a bunch of, like, taking New York City and it's, like, folding in into this big wormhole looking. It's, like,
Oh.
because Doctor Strange has been known to mess with, like, the reality almost. It's a very psychological kind of superpowerish kind of thing.
Okay.
Where, I mean, he's known to be like this. So, he's known to, like, be magical and mess with, like, altering things. So, I mean, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, cool. So, The Walking Dead Season 7 started up last Sunday. So, what we're gonna do is... Well, probably what I'm gonna do,
Yeah, I was
because we
gonna
don't watch
say,
The
this
Walking
is
Dead.
all gonna be you here, pal.
I'm just going to give a brief little, like, what my impressions of the episode were, and possibly what I think is going to happen in the future. Just a quick little, short little blurb. If you don't like The Walking Dead, you can skip it. Whatever, fast forward, I don't care.
Or if you
But
don't want spoilers, if for some reason you haven't seen it all over the whole universe right
yeah,
now.
I'll do my best not to spoil it. So pretty much, this episode was nuts. Like when I was watching it, I'm just sitting here. I'm like, oh my gosh, they can't do this. Like, for real, they're gonna kill that guy. Oh my gosh, that's so gross. At some of the points, I was like, I can't even watch because I don't know. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, are they seriously gonna do that? Like, oh my god, why? Like, it's just nuts. Like, they definitely push the limits on what you could see on TV, and they drew the line as like, all right, so Negan, like this new bad guy that they get captured by, like he essentially shows them that he owns them and that he can do whatever he wants to them, and they have to listen to him. And the way he did it was just, oh my gosh, like the dude is a jerk. Like they did a wonderful job on making you hate the bad guy. Like some movies I'm like, I don't even mind that bad guy. Like he's kind of fun and kind of cool and stupid and funny. But this guy was like, he's just a jerk. Like it was ridiculous. But I'm really excited to see what happens. I hope that there's gonna be big war. I don't know how they're gonna go about it, but oh yeah, it's gonna be good.
Okay,
Super excited.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you see any zombies anymore in this universe?
Yeah, you actually saw like a big horde of them in this episode. It was like a controlled zone of a lot of zombies. But like that's the thing, it's like a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't watch it because there's zombies." And really, it's less about zombies and more about like person to person interaction and how they're going to deal with those people and how they deal with themselves in the situation that they're put in. And that's why I really like it. The character development is crazy good. And the zombies are just an addition. I like zombies, and I like when they get their heads smashed in.
I mean, it just, all I hear is, oh, who's Negan gonna kill? What's happening with Negan? Oh, what is gonna happen? And who's dying in this episode by this other real person? I mean,
Yeah.
I just I don't hear anything about a zombie anymore.
Yeah, the zombies are definitely way less. Probably ever since like season 2, they've
Gotcha.
been significantly less important to the plot of the show. And now the plot of the show is how are these people going to survive and how are they going to deal with this other crazy nutball group of people.
Gotcha.
So that about wraps it up for today's episode. You can find me on YouTube at the 1BG Gaming. Right now I'm doing a Let's Play series of Civilization 6. I'm looking to get into some Minecraft videos and possibly that's probably about it for the foreseeable future. And I'm also on Twitter at the 1BG. It's the _ BG and Twitch at the 1PG Gaming. I'll do some random streams of Overwatch if I ever decide to pull that game out again. Probably when Sombra gets released. Bum, bum, next week. And how about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Platinuming. Currently working through Skyrim right now. You can also find me on Twitter at Platinuming, and that's about it. You can also add me on Xbox One, which is DingFutsie. It's Ding and then Futtie, and PSN at Nitsua, so Austin backwards 6991. But otherwise, mostly everything's still just Platinuming.
And you can find us both on Patreon and Facebook. And both of those are game news and things.
And then don't forget, everyone who is listening, don't be afraid to either tweet at me or the 1BG. Send in your questions. We will answer them on the podcast. You can also post it in Facebook group, or what was it? You could send an email. What was the email again?
The email is gamenewsandthings@gmail.com.
Gotcha. Yep, but don't forget, guys, go ahead. You can send in your questions there. Will be featured probably in the next episode.
Yeah, for sure. And also, if you like us, feel free to rate and review on iTunes.
Or Google Play, whatever place you guys are watching it on. We have basically all notifications to be seen on them. We will look at them for you.
Yep. So that's it for us, and we will see you next week. Peace out.
See ya.